Hi all curious minds, and in this video I want to talk about a topic that is getting back and back recently in my life because some companies or teams asking me about my experience with DDoS attacks and how it's called ransomwares. And my opinion, we should pray for a DOS attack or a ransomware attack. I know many security experts will scream like hell, like, how can you say this? And my reason is very simple. These kind of attacks are noisy, very noisy. And with that noise, organizations, teams can realize that they have some leak in their knowledge about cybersecurity. What is a DOS attack? DOS is denial of service. It can be a lot of denial of service attack actually. And this means somebody tried to make your service unavailable. DOS is just like that. The D side in front of DOS is means distributed, which means a lot of clients. So you cannot protect yourself against DDoS attacks. Why not? Because protecting against DDoS attacks is like going into a neighborhood alone and saying something that you shouldn't, and you're basically trying to fight against yourself, a whole neighborhood. The only way you can protect yourself against DDoS attacks is to gather more resource, like more bandwidth power, more hardware power, or share attack information with others. So you cannot protect yourself alone against DDoS attacks. Somehow you need to find a way to increase your infrastructure or your knowledge against this kind of attacks. The other thing is ransomware. I'm not an expert in this category, but ransomware is just a software. A software that has malicious intention. So if I try to deploy a software, I need to find a way to write it and package it in a consumable way and share this code with clients. This case is same for ransomware as well, because it's just a software. I need to somehow pack it and send it to a client who will actually run it. So to mitigate this kind of attack, then probably you need to figure out a way how not to run this code. The other thing, maybe you have a vulnerability inside of your infrastructure or in your code that enables a remote attacker to upload their code to your environment or run code on your environment. So maybe they are able to upload something or run a remote code execution attack. That's another topic. But this will bring a great attention to you and your organization that something is not right, and maybe we need to find an idea about how we can handle these kind of attacks. And I usually say everything starts with a concept. And I found a really good concept, which is, the NIST Cybersecurity Framework. It will give you a basic idea about cybersecurity. Security is not a feature that so it's not an expense you're going to pay for an extra as a last thing in your organization. It should be an integrated part of your everyday operations. And why I like this framework is just it packs the basic activities around cybersecurity in a very useful, consumable way. Basically, that security is starting with identifying your weaknesses. So we just had an DDoS attack, and it was very noisy. So let's identify the source of the attack. Or we received ransomware attack. Identify where this code and how this code got deployed. Then now we have an idea of identifying the weakness. Now we can go to the second part, which is how we can protect against it. Like, okay, we need to invest in some security software, or hire an expert who is familiar with this topic. We should buy, a tutorial or something like this to go. To protect ourselves. The third part is detect. Because we just faced a security incident, but are there any other kind of security incident? How we can detect them? The next one, and the next one, and the next one. Okay, now we have an idea about detecting something fishy going on in our organization, in our security approach. Then we can try to collect this and respond to this idea, these vulnerabilities. We have the capability to respond on something, but when hit the fans, you may need to find a way to recover, like creating backups and some things like this. So it's a great framework, it's not too complicated, and you need to do this approach over and over again, almost every day. And some tips to start with. Almost every organization, every team I met, there was a very big shortage around documentation. Documentation is not just for code. It's not about creating company policies. It's a guideline that can help you to improve almost any activities. I advise to individuals as well to taking notes, share their experience in an easy way that probably help you in the long run. And if you ask me most of the time, I have a solution or a service that I want to provide, and can you make a security audit around it? And I was saying, okay, what is the scope of this security audit? Well, here we have the site, but please do not go over outside of the scope. We want to protect our employees, so don't spam them or something like that. And actually, if I really want to hack somebody, some organization, I will start with the colleagues. Look up who they are, what are they capable of, what are they using, because it's much easier to get inside of an organization by focusing on the employees than on the infrastructure, and to help the employees who are going to be victimized. Then my suggestion is everybody has habits that is not really helpful, and everybody can buy a little computer like this. This is called a Raspberry Pi. On Amazon, it's very cheap. Like you can buy one for $60, $70, and basically it's a computer. You can do your risky stuff on this, and it will help you prevent yourself to get infected, because this hardware is isolated. The other thing to help employees is you need to realize that you are not protecting your company, you're protecting yourself. Security is everybody's responsibility, so figure out a way to make your life safer. It's good for yourself and for your organization as well. So here you can think about the password usage. Do we really need a password? Actually, most of the time we don't. We don't need to know. If we don't need to know our passwords, then maybe a hacker could not steal our passwords. So this was just a small concept about we can be very grateful to receive a DDoS and a ransomware attack. And why I'm saying this? Because these kind of attacks are very noisy, but you should really be afraid about attacks that are invisible. Because when I learned about ethical hacking and the concept, there are 5 steps associated with an attack. First, gather information. More information will help you to penetrate the organization. Then you need to gather more information, everything. And the last part is maintaining a foothold on the victim's infrastructure, laptop or something like that. And this way, a backdoor will be always open. And through it, they can have access to the computer or the server park and use that resource for any reason they want. And you, as a hacker, should try to maintain this backdoor silently as long as it is possible. So basically, they gave you a gift by voluntarily how this is called, give you this so so basically they throw away the maintained backdoor and offered you an opportunity to invest in your security. Maybe this idea will help somebody to understand the concept of cyber security, and maybe we should learn about this kind of attacks and share information with others. So, I was Zoltán Toma. I hope you learned something, and see you in the next video. Bye.